Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for IDW Sonic the Hedgehog issue 49. When we last left our heroes, we focused on the Chaotix as they went to investigate all the mayhem in Central City in the aftermath of Surgeon Kit's attack on it in the first issue of Imposter Syndrome, just to try to get to the bottom of things and maybe make some money in the process. While investigating the sewer system, they don't find anything about Surgeon Kit, but they do find Rough and Tumble, trying to smuggle weapons that are owned by Clutch the Possum from back in Chow Races and Badnik bases. So after a confrontation there, the Chaotix bust him up, destroy his operation. He swears vengeance will come back one day, I bet. But they are no closer to getting to the bottom of what actually happened in Central City than they were when they started. We know, of course, that it's all Surgeon Kit, but we're going to sort of put that aside before the big confrontation in issue 50. So with that said, let's dive right on in. Our cover here is this real spooky image of Belle and an army of badniks behind her. There's the night sky that's shown in detail. It's real spooky. Halloween's 6 months early right now. Anyway, our story so far, we have Night the Owl giving Vector the case in Central City, them going to investigate, hearing about Surgeon Kit, and then we see some stuff with from Imposter Syndrome as they're getting ready to, as that whole gang is getting ready to attack Eggman, and Surgeon Kit is bringing their trap on Starline, which I guess will come into focus this issue, maybe. If we're getting that right now. I figured that the resolution of that whole subplot would be in the next issue of Imposter Syndrome in 2 weeks, but I guess not. Maybe that's going to come in 49 already. Then we also end off this story so far segment with the aftermath of a test run. Belle telling the gang about Mr. Tinker. But anyway, our roll call here is for Sonic, Tails, and Belle. And we open with Belle and the friendly Motobud. And also some other non-badnik robots, it looks like. We see Tails hiding in the bushes asking Belle, "Ready?" And Belle tells her, "All the cables are in. Motobud's non-aggression subroutine is isolated, and the wireless broadcast is primed. But what if..." And we see Sonic is I see what's gonna happen here. They've got Sonic under a tarp, and they're gonna unveil Sonic and see if the non-aggression subroutine, as Belle calls it, still works after whatever they do. But Sonic's tapping his foot. "Ahem, I'm waiting." And Belle tells him, "Oops, sorry, sending now." And she sends this signal out to all the other badniks, or not even really badniks. They don't look like normal badniks. But their eyes all flash blue. Tails yanks the rope, revealing Sonic. And Sonic declares, "Wow, it's great to be Sonic the Hedgehog, completely unaware of any nearby danger," and he gives a knowing look to the hopefully reformed badniks. "I sure hope no badniks try to sneak up on me." And the badniks all kind of look at him and go about their day. Whatever they've done, it's worked, and that's kind of a big deal. If they can stop badniks from having this aggression program, where does that leave Eggman? I know this is a series not designed, fundamentally not designed to end. And therefore, they can never fully beat Eggman. But, I don't know. That's a big deal right here. Tails comes out. It worked. Their attack response was completely negated. And Sonic sees some of the former badniks, messing around with a rock. Am I really that boring? I'm losing to a rock. And Belle is still, looking at the readouts. And Belle tells Tails, "If we can get this reprogramming to stick, all of Eggman's robots could be saved." But Tails isn't quite so sure. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Eggman's always got something new up his sleeve. And with the weird stuff that's been happening lately, I don't know. It doesn't seem like his style, but... And, we had the image of the forest fire and whatever happened in Central City. And Tails is starting to, get around to the point that maybe Eggman isn't responsible for what's been going on lately. He has not worked out that it's clones created by, or not even clones as we know, but cyborg things enhanced with his and Sonic's DNA made by Starline. But still, he's on the right track. But Sonic just, like, doesn't really mind. He's, like, stretching. If Eggman starts something, we'll handle it. The only thing I'm worried about right now is lunch. How'd a taco sound? And he walks off, and Tails asks Belle, okay, are you coming in, Belle? I think I'll stay out here for a while. And then Tails realizes something weird. Wait, not chili dogs? Are you okay? And Sonic tells him, I like to eat other things. I'll just have a chili dog for dessert. Alright, that's a good little bit. Anyway, sorry, there was a bit of a glitch on my end. We cut back to later. As Sonic is, like, passed on the couch, book on his eyes, and he hears this scr sound. It's like scraping. And the book falls over, and he sees Motobud with his little claw scraping a door. Motobud? What's up, little dude? You want to go out? And he's just a little, we see Motobud's eyes. I'm not sure Sonic can, but he looks a little fierce, a little aggressive. So we'll see how that plays out. And he goes to, like, tap Motobud. Okay, let's give the door a break. And then Motobud swipes him. And Sonic jumps up on the couch, a little confused. Tails wakes up at the noise here. So, it's the middle of the night. But then they hear this crash, waking Tails right up. And we see Belle. Also, I should have mentioned earlier, when we see Motobud's eyes, they're purple instead of blue. And we see Belle with those same purple eyes. Like, I guess this is tying into the cover, because there's something a little fucked up there. Get out. Have to get out. And she's just going for the door. And Tails calls out to her, hey, wait! And Sonic calls, Tails! And Tails gets a good look at her. Look at their eyes. They're both under a control signal. Like what we were testing. But so much worse. Fight it, Belle. I know you can. And Belle, whatever's done this to her, her free will is kind of removed. And she raises up her hand and goes to bring it down on Tails. Sonic dashes in to block it. And asks Tails, think you can whip something up to fix this? And Tails runs off. I'll try. Buy me some time. And Belle is still muttering that same phrase, have to get out. And Sonic leaps over Motobud and tells Belle, nobody's going anywhere just yet. I mean, he's, like, sort of talking to Belle. This has Mad Doctor written all over it. Give me a clue. Blink once for Eggman, twice for Starline. And she doesn't really blink. She sort of, like, shakes her head, I think. And Sonic just responds, I don't have that one in my blink code. Got anything easier? And Belle just goes for a kick. Sonic jumps out of the way, but sort of lands on his head. Okay, not in the bantering mood. Noted. And then he calls out, how's it going in there, Tails? Almost ready, hang on. And Sonic comments, at least she's easy to dip. But before he can finish the word, Motobud sneaks up from behind him and he falls over. As Belle, pulls out a little knife in her finger and goes straight for Sonic. Sonic barely dodges, getting his eyes stabbed in. But then Motobud catches him. Or Motobud, I guess it's still Bud, I don't know. Should we call it a regular badnik again? But he grabs Sonic between his claws. Or no, he doesn't grab Sonic between, it's not like between two claws, he only has the one claw. The claw is like in the hem of Sonic's glove. Barely not stabbing him. And Belle gets all her little tools out in her fingertips and tells Sonic, get out. Which, at that point, feels more like she's telling that to Sonic than than about herself. When she has the whole must get out bit, right? What's the actual phrase? Yeah, get out, have to get out. It feels like she's talking to herself, but that seems to be to Sonic. Though also, what if it's like Belle talking to like the control signal in her head? Maybe that'd be an interesting bit. But Tails then jumps her before she can attack Sonic. And he gets out what looks like a modified version of the Zeddy Zapper from the Zeddy Hunt arc. This is gonna hurt, so sorry in advance. And he slams it into her. She's shocked and she falls over. And there's this moment where we're not quite sure if she's okay. Belle? And Belle gets up. It's me. I'm okay. But her face is still in shadow. It's a little uncertain. And Tails tells her, it's a good thing I had that prototype Zeddy Zapper left over. It'll stop any wireless signals going in or out. Which is a nice little thought there. I thought it was gonna I figured the zap was just to reset her, but that ties back into the Zeddy's central powers of sending out signals to control bots. It also stops signals from coming in. Nice little bit of continuity there. Are you sure you're okay? And Belle stands up. It was a beacon. Badniks, all of them, have been called in. Eggman is summoning an army, which I'm assuming is going to tie into everything going on in Imposter Syndrome. As I recall, the last issue there ended with Kit, Surge, and Starline starting their attack on Eggman's base, and Eggman maybe is a little desperate right now. But also, it's not great for Belle, as Belle's done all this to assert her independence, and she's sort of, with a single button, it seems called back to being Eggman's puppet, which she's not happy with. Eggman is summoning an army, and I am going to find that man and give him a piece of my mind, because I am tired of getting yanked around. She's on the fucking warpath here. And Tails asks, an army? Where? Did you get coordinates? And Belle rubs her eyes. To the south, I think. Pretty far away. Dang it, it's already fading. And Sonic, who's resting his foot on Motobud, comments, well, we've still got one Badnik who knows where to go. Which is a nice point. They still have the one little tool. They head outside, we see tracks where the other supposedly good Badniks have already run off. It looks like the other Badniks already ran off. And Sonic tells him that we better get moving. Here goes. And he writes Motobug and tells him, lead the way, little guy. And Motobug dashes off. The gang goes to follow him. Down a hill, they see, as Motobug goes down the hill, there's this car way down the hill, stopped to the side of the road. Sonic and Tails freeze. Belle comments, whoa. And she looks, I think there are some people down there. And Tails tells Sonic, you've gotta... And Sonic has already dashed off. The Badniks, they're not really attacking this truck. The truck is carrying hay or something. But the Badniks are just marching on. The driver tells his two companions, dang it, sit down! Don't get their attention. And we see one of them has a wisp on, it looks like. We've got to clear a path. Blast our way through. But Sonic just dashes through, saves the trio. And Sonic tells them, if you don't get in their way, they won't bug you. There's a house up there. Get inside and wait for this to blow over, okay? I guess offering Tails' house. And the one who was going to attack tells him, yes, sir. Cool. Let's go, guys. So yeah, they're all, continuing on their way. Later on, the trio is still following the Badniks. Not bothering them, they're just all sort of heading in the same direction. And Tails comments, we've been following these Badniks for hours. Do you think we're getting close? And Sonic, who's not even breaking a sweat here, is carrying Belle. This is nothing for him. He's not running or anything. Beats me. Last I checked, last I checked, there's nothing out this way but these woods. And Tails flies up. There's gotta be something. And as he flies, he sees this bright light. And an egg base as the sun rises. I love this panel, the sun shining in Tails' face. But he sees a huge egg base that I guess none of them knew about. But also is under attack. Which, given what's going on with Imposter Syndrome, I'm guessing this is going to be the plot of the next issue of that series. And as he flies down, Sonic comments, it's not a good face. And Tails tells him, there's an entire city. It definitely looks like Eggman's. And Belle goes to grab Motobud. We have to stop Motobud. And Motobud looks at her and is right back on the attack. But Sonic stops the fight. This little guy's not going to turn around. And I only know one way to stop a Badnik. And Belle tries to think of some solution. Let's, put the zapper on Motobud instead. That'll stop, but Tails stops her. We can't. As soon as it's off you, you'll be vulnerable to the signal again. And Belle tells Sonic, I've been studying its construction, and I might be able to cut Motobud's power. Okay, that's a solution. Stopping Motobud from joining this evil army, and keeping this whole dream of good Badniks, while not destroying Motobud. And Sonic questions, and that won't scrap it? And Belle looks down, I don't know. But she pulls out her screwdriver, but I'm not letting Eggman have this. And we're seeing all through this arc, or all through this issue, how important Belle's sense of independence is to her right now. You know, her utter fury at Eggman for like dragging her back to his army. You know, at the bottom of the panel where she wakes up from the Zeddy Zapper and she's got like those like tears of rage in her eyes. And here again, she has this dream of the good badniks, and she's not gonna let Eggman take that non-aggression subroutine away from her, no matter the cost. But she's messing around in Motobud's head. She pulls out this wire, and the gang is getting surrounded. Almost like not, they're no longer just passing through, they're surrounded on all sides. And Sonic tells Belle, "Hate to rush ya, but we suddenly gotten very popular." And I don't know, maybe they're just like, they see them messing around with Motobud as a threat to their army, and they're already gonna like defend their own or something. But she pulls out the wire, Belle, and Motobud turns off, the gang gets back to fighting the robots. But with Motobud, I guess, taken out of their army, the robots are just going to go on. They're going to ignore them now, as they all breathe a sigh of relief. Phew. And then, there's this moment. Sonic turns to Belle, and she's just sitting there with Motobud. Belle? And she tells him, "I thought I saw..." And she pulls out this slip of paper from Motobud. Oh, and it's from Mr. Tinker. "To whomever finds this letter, it is from my daughter Belle the Tinkerer. I hope that one day she might read it, unlikely as that may be. Though I am a captive, I do not ask for rescue. It's too late for that. This is a confession, to ease an old man's conscience. I've lived a good life, bringing joy to those around me, watching you become the wonderful woman you are." And we see this when this was. This was when he was this was like in issue 12, before Metal Sonic returns and wakes up Eggman. It's sort of our last little moment of Mr. Tinker, maybe. Like, I always figured when Eggman turned on, like, a switch at seeing Metal Sonic, we never get to see that persona again, but we're getting it a little bit. And, you know, I called out the end of Test Run for, like, the Belle and Tinker subplot being so fucking strong. And this seems to be a return to that. Anyway, the letter goes on. "My captor is adamant that I am actually the would-be despot Dr. Eggman. The thought of it still turns my stomach. Still, I cannot deny the logic of his evidence. I am not Dr. Eggman, but if I somehow lose myself to this nightmare, I am truly, deeply sorry. To you and to the world. I love you, Belle. I always will. Goodbye. Mr. Tinker." That's not fair. That's gonna fucking break her heart. And like, the fact that, like, Motobud was good because Tinker was, like, messing around in him while he was with Starline, that's a good way to tie Motobud and Belle together. That's quality fucking writing right there. Holy shit, that's strong. And as she reads that, she, like, takes a moment to just cry. As Sonic gives her a moment, Tails tries to comfort her. And Sonic turns around as Belle starts to speak again. "He's really gone. I was stupid to think I can make a difference." And she, like, lets go of the letter, but Sonic catches it with his foot, not letting it fly away. And he hands it back to her. "You've already made a difference, Belle. All the little wins, the good memories between the hard times, the friends we find, those are real. Nobody can take that away. We'll keep moving forward. Together." And he hands her back the letter. It's just, you know, I feel like sometimes, not always, but sometimes, it feels like Evan Stanley as a writer sometimes loses, like, the plots aren't always great. Going back to Test Run, like, this stuff, the build up to 50 is great. That's all well and good. But I feel like Stanley's power as a writer is not so much in the plot writing, but in these emotional character moments. Because this whole scene is strong. The letter, you know, the tying of Motobud back to Tinker and that whole story, Sonic's little words of, like, you know, every little thing you've done is important. Even if you didn't save Tinker, those good times you had with him, those good times you had with him mattered. Matter now, even if they don't matter to the Eggman of today. That's just quality fucking writing. That's just the good shit. Either way, they leave Motobud on the side of the road. And I guess, like, off to the side. And Tails comforts Belle. You gotta check out the city. If you want to go back to the workshop, that's okay. But Belle tells him, no, Sonic's right. And she looks forward with, like, newfound determination. Let's go. And Sonic tells her, that's more like it. Hang on, you two. I think this calls for a little extra speed. And we see Tails is, like, already grabbed onto to Sonic's arm as Belle takes his hand. And they zoom towards the city. Getting closer and closer as they approach the battlefield. Next time, Badniks. More Badniks. Dr. Eggman, Dr. Starline, Surge, Kit, and more. And we have our next month cover just focusing on Surge, Kit, and Starline. So yeah, I will say, I imagine issue 50 is going to be big. You know, larger than your normal, like, 24-page issue. We need time, you know, to... Because, like, I've also already seen the solicit for 51, which is my bad, but it mentions a bit of, like, R&R after a big battle. And so in issue 50, we have to introduce Sonic and Tails to their imposters, you know, and wrap up all of the drama going on there, as I imagine Sonic and Tails won't make it for, like, I imagine, you know, Imposter Syndrome 4 will end basically where we leave off here. Not in the same place, but at the same time. Or maybe, like, the furthest I can imagine the end of Imposter Syndrome getting is, like, Sonic, Tails, and Belle meet Surge and Kit. There's a moment of, like, who the fuck are you? To be continued in issue 50 in June. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about the future. Let's talk about this issue. Because this issue is just so good. Like, this is just a good fucking issue. You know, it was a little, like, for a while, I you know, during, like, the fight in the workshop, there was this moment where I'm like, do I really have a lot to say about this issue? It was just sort of, like, things happening. I haven't really commented on anything. And then the work came in. And, you know, all that great character work with Belle. Like, Belle is clearly Evan Stanley's darling. And she is, you know, put the work in with this character. And she's just great. You know, I can imagine, like, if people don't somehow think that Belle's character arc is not good, I don't know why they would think that, given how fucking strong it is. But if they did, I could see why, like, why Stanley's whole tenure might not really work for them. But, like, it's just so well done. Her character arc is so good. You know, I would have been satisfied if we'd been done with her backstory in Test Run, right? That little moment of her, like, confronting Eggman and having to accept that Eggman will never be Tinker again, and then confessing to her friends who she is. That was such a strong climax that, like, I didn't need more from this, but I'm so glad we got it. You know, tying in, like I said, tying in her desperate bid to, like, you know, replicate Motobud's non-aggression to the rest of the Badniks, tying that in with the non-aggression is the fault of Mr. Tinker, tying both of those moments into, like, her entire character arc is so good. That is such a great choice. I could not be happier with the reveal of, like, how Motobud got this way. It wasn't just some glitch, like we kind of assumed. It was tinkering around in there and creating this hope for salvation. Both in Belle's, like, emotional state, but also kind of to stop Eggman, you know, once and for all, in giant fucking air quotes, because, you know, again, a never-ending comic will never have a once and for all ending. But, like, that's just quality writing. That's just some damn good shit. And, like, I don't know. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Even though I imagine issue 50 is not going to be really focused on the Belle and Tinker stuff, that sort of is wrapped up here. Or maybe not wrapped up for good, but, like, wrapped up for now, at the very least. But yeah, with that, issue 50 is upon us. After one more little detour on the adventures of Surge and Kit, we will be at the climax of this whole arc we've been waiting months for, as Sonic and Tails have to meet their doppelgangers. And I don't know, I can't fucking wait to see it. It'll be thankfully we have Imposter Syndrome in 2 weeks, but after that, it will be a long 2 months to wait for the climax of this whole story. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes it happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!